Again, I really hope you guys have been enjoying the diversity we've been trying to show. Lots of different matchups, lots of different players, lots of different things and tactics and whatnot. But welcome back once again to not only the Lycan League, but the Legacy of the Void Lycan League beta tournament. There's a lot to go over, and I know some of you guys have been hearing us repeat information. Key points being, though, that there's a lot of new information to share with everybody. So that being said, I'm Rifkin casting with Zombie Grub, and in the top left corner of the map, we have the pink Zerg player Solo.
In the bottom right has the blue Zerg. It's Acer Supply.
Okay, so ZvZ, it's pretty boring in Heart of the Swarm. Let's be honest about it. It ramps up to a really cool game once things get going, but it was boring, it was slow, it was tedious. Things changed now, though, with Legacy of the Void. One of the big things to get is faster economy. You put a hatchery down a minute into the game. Like, what is that? What is that? So not only do you get to get through the boring parts a little bit quicker, but the aggression is going to ramp up sooner. Transitions will come better, and of course, above all else, there's new units to play with in the early game. New tactics. Roach Burrow is such a big part of ZvZ right now in Heart of the Swarm, and you can get all of that on Tier 1. You know, Roach speed makes it go faster, of course, but the same sort of can't-touch-me tactics apply.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it really sucks that I have to agree that ZvZ is so far quite boring, or same boring. I guess it depends on if you think Heart of the Swarm ZvZ was boring too, but, you know, we tried Lurkers, we tried Hydras, we tried Roaches and Ravagers, and maybe they have a place in certain builds and attacks, and maybe even they're good at a certain type of defense, like you'd want Roaches for one and Ravagers for another. Not going too deep here, but it seems that, like, Lings are still so important that you just can't not get your own Lings, or you have to get a wall, just like you would in Heart of the Swarm. Banelings might not be as necessary as you get to like Roaches and Ravagers quickly, but even then, the Lings are actually just still so powerful. There's this whole first part of ZvZ that looks very similar, very disappointingly similar.
I think that what's kind of cool is, like, you look at something like the Ravager, and you're just ready for this unit to be OP and broken and whatever. But yeah, it's the fact that these units still have a lot of the same vices that Roaches do. They've got less health or harder. I really want to see, like, one of these engagements we get these clumped up Ravagers and surprise Banelings coming off guard or something. The same way you use them versus Roaches in Heart of the Swarm. Less health means more vulnerable and all these other things. But I like the new potential. Zerg just got such a dynamic rework. You know, the changes were fun. Nice Ling micro, by the way, on a Bly. Wow.
You know, I'm not thinking of any ways, like, to really abuse the Ravager, unless it's, like, a certain all-in or something like that. But I do know from our play that if you can afford Hydras and some Lurkers, they can be very good as the game goes on. You have multiple bases to defend. I mean, it is actually so good to have one Lurker in each base against anything. The Roach Burrow attacks that are probably going to come, as Roach Burrow is automatic. The Ling attacks that are going to come. That's how hot against me it is, but, you know, it's a whole other deal. But here we have a very typical ZvZ, guys.
Lings and Banelings.
Lings and Banelings.
Actually, speaking more theoretically on ZvZs while we wait for this to kick off, I'm really excited to see if mutas are even viable anymore. The new Viper Parasitic Bomb is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's going to be, you know, people will try and get up to Infestors, and maybe that still is the first part of defending against mutas, but
Great bait hit.
Second part would just be use Vipers.
Good starts on these fights. Bly's going to have to deal with some of his opponent's Banelings here soon, but kills so many of the Lings early on. This may not even be that many Banelings to hit. Yeah, that one goes off on pretty much nothing. Okay,
well, Solo tried to get a third behind this aggression, hoping that he maybe control a little bit longer. He might just straight up lose it now.
So Bly's still waddling in, looking for a hit. Not sure if he'll save for these opponent's Banelings. Really scared to be on top of an egg like that, but not quite done just yet. And he's just going to keep waddling. Zones out this opponent's Lings with his own Baneling. Another great hit. Lings are surround that one queen. She's on move command, not attack command, so she goes down without a fight.
But he's not going to be able to get the third. He could get a couple of drones, and Solo would be okay with that if this third stays secure.
But, I mean, losing two queens is kind of like losing
that
a third. He's losing drones on top of it, too.
Yeah.
I mean, this still isn't even cleaned up yet.
Exactly. This isn't cleaned up. It's still killing drones. We actually have 28 more lings in the way, so Bly's not
Nice.
saying, like, I had enough damage, let me go in third. No, he's actually looking for the win here. GG.
Not sure why Solo decided to go for Lair instead of, roaches or banelings or anything to help him with that defense, but perhaps hoping to catch Bly with Mutas. Regardless, game number 1, gonna go to Bly. Oh, what are we? Gotta get that stretch out.